Really quick before we get into the build, some of you might not know what these bow tie joints are. They're also called Dutchman joints, and they are designed to hold a crack together. If there's a split in a piece of wood, you can insert these bow tie keys and they will really prevent that wood from moving. And I wanted to show a couple examples of different types. You can use contrasting wood, you can use matching wood like this walnut with walnut here, or you can go kind of crazy with this quilted maple on silver maple. There's a lot of options, really an endless amount of choices you can do when making these bow tie joints.
Hey, this is Cam with Blacktail Studio, and today I'm going to show you how I cut my bow tie joints. I cut my bow ties on a bandsaw using a little jig like this. I didn't invent this jig, but I'm going to show you how to make it. There are a number of other ways to make them. I don't mind some of the table saw jigs you can see. I really don't recommend hand cutting them. You'll never get them perfectly symmetrical, and that's what we're going to show you how to make today. I use my table saw, my bandsaw, and my miter saw to cut these. You could probably do it all in the bandsaw if you wanted. And here's a couple examples of ones I cut using this. This is on an 8-degree jig is what we're doing here. I did a 7-degree and a 9-degree on different occasions that I also use occasionally. And you can get all different thicknesses, widths. They're all gonna have the same angle here unless you get a different jig though. So I'm gonna show you the steps to make that in about 5 minutes using some scrap plywood or MDF. Enjoy.
So I say to do a 4x6 inch rectangle here, and that's kind of an arbitrary number. You can really do any size you'd like. As a side note, I highly recommend making yourself one of these bandsaw sleds. I use it for everything. I pretty much just leave it on my bandsaw all the time. Back to the jig, I set this one at 8 degrees. I have a 7, 8, and 9 degree jig that you can do. And then you just simply make a cut with a chop saw or miter saw. That's pretty much it for building the jig. I'm going to get into how I cut the bow ties with it, but that is the entire jig there. Just a couple 90-degree cuts and an 8-degree cut. The cool thing about this jig is that you can do any length or thickness of wood. It's just going to taper in the sides. So I cut some random lengths there. I'm not even sure I'm going to use all these. And here I'm just marking the center line. This is where you want to be really accurate. You want to get exactly in the middle, right down to the millimeter. Now what you're going to do is just cut very carefully right to that center line. You don't want to go past it, and you also don't really want to be short of it. So just take your time and make a nice slow cut. Try not to cut your fingers either. And this is why you want to have marked that center line extremely accurately. If you did that properly, it'll come out just perfect. And that's how you want it done right there. If you don't get it just perfect, you can leave it just a little bit short and clean up that with a chisel later, which I'll show you how to do. Here's a little bit shorter and wider piece. Makes it look like an entirely different type of bow tie, but it's done with the same jig. So here's my random batch of bow ties. They're not wildly different, but you see some of them are shorter, wider, longer, skinnier. And you can even change the shape like I'll show you here. If you wanted to go with a really modern thin bow tie, you can just keep taking it down until you get the shape you want. Just cut to that center line, flip it, cut back to the center line. On those bow ties where you didn't meet exactly in the middle, simple enough, just take a nice sharp chisel, clean that up. Okay, that's my whole video. I really appreciate you guys watching, and let me know in the comments what type of bow tie joints you like, or if you even like bow ties at all. And stay tuned for my how to inlay these bow ties. A video will be coming out really soon. And if you enjoyed this one, please subscribe for more just like it. Thanks so much.